One idea that's come up recently within the literature on privacy is the idea that we create almost a bubble around certain pieces of information, almost a zone of privacy, where the information is allowed to go within a certain zone, within a certain company. I give information over to one person or one company, and I have an expectation of where that information is allowed to go, how it's allowed to be used within a certain zone or space or sphere. They have different terms for it. And it's helpful to think that way, I think, because as our information is separated from us, the zone of privacy is not always around us as people. That's the way it used to be. Well, I used to have an expectation of privacy within a certain physical space. Inside a room, I would have some sort of privacy. But as our information is given over to other people, it's stored in a database, it's collected on servers all across the nation. My privacy zone leaves with my information in some ways, and I have an expectation of where that information can be used, who can have access to it, what it can be used for, how long will it stay within that zone, is there some sort of expiration date where my data will be deleted. And that is a little bit more helpful than just thinking of it around me as a person, that when it leaves that zone of privacy, it's gone forever. I have no expectations. But even within a company, if I'm an employee, I have expectations with employee monitoring, for example, of how that information is going to be used, how long, who has access to it, and for what purpose. And those are reasonable. They're expectations that I should have. They're expectations that I would have anywhere else that I was working. And so at any company, that's a helpful way to think about the information that I'm giving over, even in just my daily activities, of what can be, where can it be used, what are the limits of that zone of privacy, and what are the kind of the rules that govern who comes into that zone, who stays in that zone, and how are they going to be using that information. And if you think about it, we use as the example that I've used before is teams in a locker room. So in a locker room, there can be certain banter and talk within that locker room, and there's a high expectation that what is said in that locker room does not leave that locker room. And what's interesting is it doesn't have to be the physical space. It's more, I think, based on the team aspect. So to continue with that example, if that team was on a bus or in the cafeteria or in a study room, they would have the same expectations of privacy as what was said. It doesn't have to necessarily be in the physical space of a locker room. There still is an expectation based on their relationship as a team. And the same holds true when we work with people and organizations. It doesn't change our expectations of privacy between people doesn't necessarily change based on physically where we are. You can think of having an outdoor activity with your colleagues from work, being inside, an office space and talking, and also going out to a bar and having a drink afterwards. 3 different areas, 3 different physical spaces. I would say that we actually have similar expectations of privacy. When I tell you something, I have an understanding of where that information is going to go, what you're going to use it for, who else has access to that information. So privacy zone or space is helpful in thinking that there's a space or a zone that we can work within information. However, it's not physical, and that's the thing that I think is very different right now, is that it's not necessarily a physical location. It's more of a conceptual location around the information and around a relationship as to where do I expect that information to go and where do I expect it to be used.